I mean, it's a silly day today in college football, huh?
We're an unserious sport that it's a gift that keeps on giving, dude.
I mean, you have the dichotomy of the sport itself is funny, right? Because you have like, for example, like a Syracuse who like Fran Brown is clearly playing out the string and he's having these nonsense press conferences where he's just trying to get through them, man. You could just tell like he doesn't have the answers this year and he's just trying to move through it. Then you've got like Lane Kiffin, who's out here on his way to the playoffs. He was demanding he signs a new contract or they're going to move on from him before the playoff starts.
The best coach they've ever had, they're about to fire before they make the playoff this year.
Before they have a legit shot at winning the national championship this year. Like, it's crazy.
You're watching Domed In Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe.
It's crazy.
Seriously, I mean, it's insane. You've got the state government fully involved, putting the pressure on. Like it's almost unfathomable. It just means more, dude. It's a classic. It means more.
It just means more. So here's the thing is, obviously when you look at the situation, it's a tough situation because the fans will say, and the fans who are, diehard Ole Miss and are kind of on the side of, oh, he needs to answers. Hey, the transfer portal is coming up. And if he doesn't do this now, we're going to get stuck after the playoffs with a new coach and no transfer portal, and everybody could leave. I get it. I do get it. The transfer portal timing being before the playoff, I think everybody recognizes that as a major problem for college football.
It just can't continue this way. I don't know why it wasn't fixed last year. Like I thought we all documented that this was a problem. No,
I mean, Bro Prabula was the perfect example. God forbid if Aller had gotten hurt last year. What does Penn State do if their backup quarterback decides to leave? And you can't blame the kid because the kid was like, I'm going to go get the bag to go to Missouri. They're not going to hold my spot. And he went to go get the bag in Missouri, and you can't blame the kid. And so, like, it's a no win situation for anybody.
Totally. Like it's that whole situation played out, and you can't really blame anybody involved other than the structure or the process that's in place. It just doesn't make any sense, dude. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep seeing some wacky stuff happen. I think it's really just the first couple dominoes are starting to fall, right? And like we obviously got some other news today, like the Franklin move to Virginia Tech, which I think they were pretty damn close to giving him an ultimatum, or as close as you can be here the
I think they
last
gave
few
him
days.
multiple ultimately, and he just
Yeah,
didn't
dude.
take them.
No, not at all. And like he pretty much was trying to avoid taking that job, it felt like. But I know we've talked about it on the side. What are your thoughts on that move of Franklin to Vodtech? I know I like it a lot, but I would love to hear your position
Well, I
on
think that's the Lane Kiffin domino, right? Because I do think Franklin was out there waiting for potentially the Florida job, the Florida State job. It seems like Florida State's now committed to Mike Norvell. So if that's the case, it seems like Franklin was kind of waiting to see how that would go. If
Yeah,
they're going to commit to Mike Norvell, then Virginia Tech's a decent job for him.
yeah.
Florida is clearly eyes on Kiffin. LSU is clearly eyes on Kiffin. And those are the two jobs that I think are the premier jobs. And then obviously Penn State, which is, obviously not for James Franklin since he just got fired there. And that kind of leaves you with Va Tech if you're James Franklin. There isn't really another option. And again, like we just said, that portal is coming up. You got to get in the door now if you're going to be one of these coaches, especially if you're a coach like Franklin who's not coaching at the moment, right? Like you have to get in the door now so you can start your work so you can be ready when the transfer portal comes. Because when that transfer portal comes, you're going to need to hit it immediately at Vatech. Like there's some talent there. Like I like Drones. I like some of the guys they have there, but that team is in desperate need of depth and
Oh
talent.
yeah. Totally, and especially for a guy like him too, that just had like 15 kids decommit from Penn State that are like pending to see where he's going, and like I mean, I know you. Obviously, I'm from Virginia. I think college football is better when Virginia Tech is a good program. Like
Enter
it's
Sandman and Blacksburg.
exactly like as much as I disliked that program growing up, it's better for the sport for that program and that school just to be rocking. Like I think this could be dangerous for the ACC, like we've talked about. Like there's a world where this is a home run of all home runs for Virginia Tech, and this becomes, you know Western Virginia, Penn State, right? Like this is not a fun situation for the ACC if Franklin starts to get this rolling and
It's
he
not
starts
good for
somehow.
Syracuse.
No, like I mean, he from a recruiting standpoint, he's already recruited their entire territory at Vandy, Penn State. Like it's a layup for him here. The other thing I think that was funny that you noted, like, is Florida State committed to Mike Norvell, or are they just too poor to fire him? Right? I think it's the latter. I think they're poor. I think they
They
need to
needed
turn.
that PE money,
They
that
they
Saudi
needed that
money.
private equity bailout, dude. They're like all of us.
Yeah, that's a tough one because Norvell. Like I saw something being like Mike Norvell has recruited top 20 program at Florida State the whole time he's there. It's like that's like right in line. If you're keeping him because he's recruiting top 20 program, great. But like you could hire a bunch of guys who could recruit top 20 at Florida State.
You should. Any coach with a pulse should recruit top 20 at Florida State, dude. Like,
Right.
it's the same as any of the Texas schools. Like, you wake up, you walk out your back door, and you have a top 25 recruiting class. Like, that's not impressive. I feel the same way as you.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot more we're gonna be learned when Kiffin, whatever that domino is that falls with Kiffin, because I feel like that's really gonna kick off like a crazy chain of events. It is interesting to me though that like the Penn State rumors have kind of died. Like who's even being rumored for that job right now?
No idea, dude. Like, who would you think is going to go walk in and take that job?
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Like, who do they reach for immediately to try?
I feel like to me, I feel like the guy who makes so much sense there, but I don't know that he wants to leave the SEC is Drinkowitz. To me, Drinkowitz would be kind of a really good hire there. I think he'd be a great recruiter. He'd kind of be like what they did when they brought Franklin from Vandy, because they'd still reach into that, heartland of America type of stuff. But I just think he would play up in Penn State. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of another name, and like all the guys that they wanted, Rule, Signetti, all those guys have ruled themselves out.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and if you don't get him, who is right? I
Yeah,
mean,
Drinkowitz doesn't come.
are we in Bob Chesney territory?
I mean, I love Bobby Chesney. I think Bobby Chesney's
I
going
don't
to get a
think
big
it's as
job.
crazy. I honestly
Yeah.
don't think it's as crazy right now as
Did
we
you see
probably think.
JMU put a beat down on App State this
They
week?
destroyed them. They fucking destroyed them. He's putting on an audition for one of these jobs if someone wants to take the leap. Like, Virginia Tech was going to hire him. They were going to hire him if Franklin didn't say yes. I'm almost certain. And it would have been a good
I think whoever hires him gets a home run hire out of Chesney. He did a great job at Holy Cross, which is not an easy place to do anything. And then he's done an awesome job at JMU, following up what is like he was following up the Nick Saban at Alabama when he was following Kirk Signetti at JMU, especially because Kirk took the whole team.
He took the entire team. And then he kind of brought in a bunch of guys from Holy Cross. And he
figured it out.
He figured it out. And now they're the best, group of 5 team again.
Yeah, he might make the playoff. He might make the playoff at JMU. I mean, JMU's a good school. Don't get me wrong. Like, because we're talking about that Virginia area where there's fertile ground, but to do it in 2 years and like pretty much right now he's in the playoff, right? Like, I don't think there's another after South Florida lost to Navy. I mean, I guess if Navy wins out, they're potentially in the playoff,
which
but
is crazy.
But it's one of those two, and you're telling me Bob Chesney in 2 years has that program on the cusp of potentially being in the playoff. What he's done there is nothing short of miraculous. I don't know how somebody doesn't hire him. The other guy that I've been trying to get this guy hired. I've been trying to get Will Stein hired somewhere.
Someone's got to hire him.
He's such a good offensive coordinator. The work he's done with the quarterbacks since he's been at Oregon has been incredible. He was there at Gabriel last year. I thought he was really good. The work that he's done with Dante Moore, and clearly he had 2 years to get Dante Moore, or 1 year to get Dante Moore ready, another year to have him play. It's kind of incredible.
I agree, and I wonder, honestly, if he just ends up one of these guys that these roles have to be backfilled, right? Like, there's going to be so much movement in this carousel. Like, there's going to be so many jobs that need to be sorted out here. I can't imagine he doesn't get hired as a head gig somewhere. Don't you agree? Like, with the amount of carouseling, unless he just decides he doesn't want it, or some of the jobs that are available, like, because there's going to be a Tulane, there's going to be Memphis. It's like there's going to be some decent really well-funded group of 5 positions that are like clear stepping stones, like a JMU, right? Like,
Well, so here's my take on his Will Stein is, if I'm Will Stein, I'm waiting for a big job,
yeah,
and the job that I think would appeal to me if I was him would be taking over the program after Lane Kiffin. And so here's the thing, though: if
that
you're
I
Ole
like.
Miss, I'm not hiring a guy who's never been a head coach if I'm going into the playoff and I need a head coach. So if I'm Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, let's say, decides to leave, or you decide to kick him out, you have to be ready with somebody who's going to come in and coach immediately for that short span of time. I don't
Do
know
you
if you
think
could.
so? You
I,
don't think they would go interim? I think they'd probably go interim. No.
I don't know if you. I don't know who you could pull, but like, if I'm them, the first guy that would be top of my list. I mean, outside of the ridiculous like Nick Saban bullshit, but outside of that, like the first guy that's probably top of my list is like John Summerall. Like, could you get John Summerall in the door to coach the Lane Kiffin team and see if you can keep that together?
I just don't know if that's too fucking weird, dude. Like, like
So you're
how
gonna go with an interim? Like, who's
I
on the
think you
staff
have.
there who does
I
the
think you
job?
have to, because like, what team is going to respond to the guy that they know was coaching another team? Like, like it's different when it's an off season. In my opinion, like to hire someone and bring them in, like it's a wild thing to do. I think for a college team,
I hear you, but you got to get a quality head coach,
it is an unprecedented situation. I don't
and
know.
you
Like,
can't. Like, if you're going into the playoff, you cannot go with a guy who's never head coach before.
I, but how
That's
do
a
you have a
big
guy come in
fucking
and
deal.
make decisions for a team and hasn't been there all year? Like I kind of you
But you
got to
have to,
almost go.
if you're the guy coming in, you're gonna have to rely on the guys who have been there for sure. Because I get what you're
Yeah,
saying, but you cannot go into a playoff with a guy who's coaching his first ever game as head coach. I just don't think you can. I don't know who's on their staff
I
that
was going
could
to ask. That
potentially.
was what I was going to ask. That's my next. Who was potentially on that staff that maybe could do it? But
I don't
like,
even know. Let me look. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
pull
there's
it
no
up.
way that Lane runs the offense. I can't imagine their offensive coordinator has a ton of experience.
Because now you're gonna laugh at me, but
I mean, it's
the
Charlie
other
Weiss
guy that
Jr.
I was gonna maybe say, who? Who'd you say?
Charlie Weiss Jr.
Oh, that's who's
Uh,
on the staff.
he's their offensive coordinator. Pete Golding is their defensive
Joe
coordinator.
Cox.
Uh,
See.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
he's never
I don't
Pete
think
Golding's
any of
never
these
been an
guys have ever been a
offensive
big time head
coordinator
coach. Joe
either,
Judge.
head coach either.
Joe Judge was an NFL head coach, right?
A very, very poor one for the New York Giants. I mean, maybe that's it though. Seriously,
That's the only guy
just
that
to
I'm
put
seeing that
somebody
I
in
would go
charge.
with. Yeah.
Yeah, of this group, I would agree with you probably. Like, you need someone who's just got to be an adult and make the decisions, and probably it may even be better because you may want to just keep your coordinators where they are, because they've been good.
Well, so it's funny because my second name, you didn't even let me get to my second name, which was even sillier. What about Ed O?
Oh, dude. I mean, write the movie.
I mean, what if you said to Ed O,
Write
hey,
the movie.
you're going to come in as an interim, and if you win the Natty, you get to keep the job? Does he do that?
Dude, I think Ed O would take any job if someone offered it to him. A head job. He's the interim guy. He was the interim master,
I'm just saying, like those, that to me is more tempting than putting Joe Judge at head coach. That's just me though. I don't, obviously I hear your argument of like you want a guy who's been there the whole time. I get that. But like if you're kicking Lane Kiffin out the door, you better have some kind of master plan, because you're not just kicking like a good head coach out the door. You're kicking the guy who's brought your program back from being somewhat irrelevant.
100%, dude. Do not replace. This is like the best coach you've ever had. When has Ole Miss been better than this consistently?
I
don't
have
think
no idea.
really ever. Like,
Yeah.
This is. I understand why. Like, this is like the most awkward, bitter divorce that's like playing out in public that like I've ever seen. Like, they're trying to act like they don't want him anymore. it's like you've only decided that you don't want Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss because he's clearly deciding that he doesn't really maybe want to be there anymore, and now you're scorned by it. This whole thing is bizarre. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the dominoes though, dude, because it's going to be a chaotic next 45 days. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, that's the best part, right? Because like everything now coming to the end of the season is crazy. I mean, we talked about the playoff last time we were on here. We were talking about Texas has to do this, Texas has that. Texas just got stomped by Georgia. And, I was getting comments like, I don't think Texas is going to make it. If you don't think that if Texas goes and beats Texas A&M in the last week, undefeated Texas A&M, and the last thing that Texas does is beats Texas A&M, and their 3 losses are at Ohio State, at Georgia, and who's their third loss?
They lose at Florida.
Florida, right. If you don't think that those 3 losses are like the committee's going to look at that and be like, toss them out. 2 of those losses they toss out right away. At Georgia at night, that's one of the toughest places you could play. At Ohio State, first weekend of the year, lose by 7, throw it out.
That's one of
So
the
they
best
really
losses.
just lost to Florida this year. And with wins over Oklahoma, who's probably going to be in the playoff, over Texas A&M, who will definitely be in the playoff, like they all of a sudden have a pretty quality schedule, right? Like I don't know. It's like there's so much left that could happen, and this weekend proved it. Like, Texas A&M looked dead in the water, and they had the most unbelievable comeback. I was texting you, it's the Lenore Sellers game. No, it's not. It's the Mike Elko fucking game, dude. Mike Elko just shit on Shane Beamer. I don't know how Shane Beamer has a job today.
Seriously, dude. I don't even know whose game it is because it kind of has turned into the state trooper and the walkway game too here, evidently. Like
Your
a lot
boy
of
Nick
people
Harbor.
want right. Nick Harbor, NCAA football god.
Legend. Legend. Unstoppable.
What a bizarre game that was. Like, I know I was kind of in and out of that game. I was at a wedding this weekend, and when it was on around me, and just like the score initially obviously was a shock. And then as you're just kind of every time I looked at the TV, A&M was just 7 points closer, and all of a sudden it was a tie game, or they took the lead. I think it was what.
And that's how it felt.
24.
It felt inevitable. Yeah, it felt inevitable. They were just like every moment you were like, "Oh my god, this is not this is happening. This is not happening. This is happening."
Yeah.
I mean, that second half, that was a half of adjustments. It was amazing.
Totally.
I mean, some of the other stuff that happened this weekend, Oklahoma went into Alabama and won a tight one. Again, like Oklahoma, Brent Venables has that team geared up for the playoffs.
I think I saw they had like 200 yards of total offense and won that game. That's pretty impressive showing there.
That Venables defense is no joke. He's still stealing signs. I mean, Oklahoma ends the season with Missouri and LSU. It would be the most Oklahoma Brent Venables thing to drop the last game to LSU at home, but
I mean, if he wins those games, I mean, what a comeback story from him to get in the playoff and kind of save his job, right?
Yeah, for sure, he saves his job, and because he was definitely dead in the water.
Right.
Another one,
and he gets to keep those Clemson national championship trophies too, right?
Yes, he does get to keep those. If he makes the playoff again before Dabo, talk about fired. Georgia Tech survives against BC. 36-34.
Just talk about a team that just Brent Key is not making a playoff, dude. He's not making the playoff.
They're gonna make the playoff.
They're gonna make the playoff.
Yeah.
Dude, that team is losing in the ACC title game. I don't care who they're playing. They're not winning in the ACC title game.
But if it's them versus Miami, I think both make it. It's a 2-loss Georgia Tech team. It's a 2-loss Georgia Tech team, and I do. I think that there's a good chance they make it. We'll see what happens with Texas A&M, because I do think Texas is the wild card there with 3 losses. But you look at the 2-loss teams, unless Michigan beats Ohio State, I don't know who else is in there.
I would probably take a 3-loss team over Georgia Tech, dude. This team has beaten. We've talked about it on one of our episodes. That team has beaten absolutely nobody. They've beaten nobody. Duke is their best win.
And it should be
and
3
Georgia just
losses
got
because they'll
beaten
lose to
by.
Georgia and they should have lost to Wake Forest. And I totally agree with you. It's not a good team. They have papered over the cracks in this season, but I'm looking at it the way the committee's going to look at it, not necessarily how I think it should be. I don't think they should be in there, but I think the committee's going to put them in there.
If UVA were to beat them in the ACC title game, I think UVA should go. Sorry, I think Georgia Tech should be out. UVA would go. And
Yeah.
then you can decide about Miami. But Georgia Tech is a no. That's a.
Yeah.
I think they're the
I
two
mean,
top teams in the ACC.
yeah, no, I hear you. I still don't think Virginia's very good, but that's just me.
I don't know either, but I was looking. I mean, all they have left is that Va Tech game at home, which could get weird. That could get weird.
but
if
I
they
think
win
they're
that
going to win
game,
that game. Vatek's dead.
uh,
Final one game that we want to talk about, and then actually two more. Sorry, we have the Cheaters versus the Nerds. Michigan survives 24-22 versus the Nerds of Northwestern. That one was close. Underwood played great in the first half, played terrible in the second half.
yeah, honestly, I don't know where I'm at on Underwood right now. I feel like I've been duped by some of these quarterbacks that are in his sort of size profile, and I might, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm kind of in and out on Underwood right now. I
My
think he's
thing on
been
him,
okay.
my thing on him is he has no talent around him. That
That is
receiving
very
core
true.
is one of the worst in the country, and that's why, like, the same way you're in and out on him, I'm not full 2 feet in on saying yet. I think he's awesome. But
I'm
he has
with
two
you.
top 5 receivers in college football.
I'm with you on that, dude. Actually, I tend to agree that like I'll hold on saying until I see him play with not the two best, debatably two of the 5 best players in the country around him.
And I also like, if he's going to play with those guys, he needs to continue to light it up when he actually plays somebody, because Ohio State hasn't played anybody this year. They played Texas and they haven't played anybody since.
No, and what I should also I should add, like asterisk, like I don't think Michigan's done Underwood a ton of favors with with their play calling this year either. Like I just don't think they've done a great job with him. But I also think he thinks a little bit out there, and I think some of this is just like they're kind of screwing him up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we'll see on that. But I will say Northwestern has been stingy for about a month and a half now.
Yeah,
Like,
Northwestern got good somehow.
Yeah, they kind of got good here out of
They've been covering every game.
Yeah, they've been a wagon.
Okay, Iowa traveled to USC and they brought the Iowa weather with them.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley survives this game. This felt like a key Lincoln Riley game to me. This felt like the Lincoln Riley game that defines his career, this win here. If they could find a way, and I know it's a tough task because they're a very good team, if they could find a way to win in Austin this weekend.
I know, dude. And to be honest, and Oregon, while I like Lanning and they're a good team, I don't think this is his best team. I just don't. Like, I don't think this Oregon team is even as good as they were last year. I don't know if I think.
I mean, I think Dante Moore's good. I think he's a year away from being great. They also, their best receivers, a freshman.
Exactly. Like they had the playmakers last year. Like Tez Johnson's playing for the Bucks now. Like, like
they've got a very good tight end. They've got they have no talent really at running back, in my opinion. I don't think their running back room is very good. Yeah. Their offensive line's okay. It's not as good as it was. But they can that O line will travel. It's pretty good. They'll travel. And the defense is really good. That's the thing about Oregon. The defense is really, really good. And the one game that I thought their defense wasn't great in was the Indiana game.
Yes. And Indiana kind of just bullied them a little bit in that game, and that really hadn't happened to them all year.
But that was also a super close game, and it got a little bit away from them at the end. But it's closer than the score looks like in that game.
Yeah, dude. To be honest with you, I haven't thought that Mayava for USC has been very good the last month. To be honest, like every time I've watched them, he just like has not really impressed me. I did think he actually was good in that Iowa game. And when they really needed him, he was very good. He might pull one.
The one thing about
I like them against Oregon this week. I'll leave it at that.
The one thing about Maava though is Maava is of the USC guys is the one who just unlike the past few years just isn't taking those stupid turnovers. And that's really helping them because they have a ton of weapons.
No.
So he's just not making those stupid turnovers that Caleb made, that Miller Moss made, and that alone is helping them win games.
I totally agree. Totally agree. He does. I don't think he's bad. I wouldn't say that. I just kind of almost put him in like kind of like a Joey Aguilar sort of bucket, where like Aguilar's
That's
even
fair.
looser with the football, but like I think that's kind of like where what their skill set is. Like some weeks he's going to look great. The scripted plays, their system looks great. Other weeks when that gets thrown off, it's like he's not gonna wow you outside the system. Does that make sense? Kind of.
Totally, but it's another team with two of the top wide receivers. I mean,
Totally.
Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon are two of the top guys in college football right now. So again, he's got the weapons, and that's why I kind of do like him because if he just plays it simple, he's doing better than he needs to do.
You're
Final
honestly, you're
game
right.
to-
Like I was gonna say, like that USC quarterback just needs to be a point guard.
Yeah, great way, great analogy.
You
Just
know,
get the
'cause you're
guys
gonna
the ball.
have fucking dudes everywhere all the time. You know.
Yeah. Final game I wanted to touch on, Notre Dame and Pitt. This will obviously leave us into a little bit of a Notre Dame preview for our Syracuse. Pitt, we watched them. We went to that game. Pitt's maybe the most overrated team in the country, being 22.
What I will say is, I feel like the only team that is game plan for Pitt well in the last 2 months is Syracuse. Honestly, like it's like no one else realizes that Heinzel's gonna run. You know, like, yeah. To be honest with you, I don't think we agree. I don't think Pitt's that good. I think they were better last year, honestly, and they just had a Holstein was just a bad quarterback, and now they have a guy who's not bad, and so they're a little bit their record's better. Narduzzi's just a good coach. I don't know.
And the defense is good.
Yeah, this game went about as I expected it to. Like Notre Dame is a much better football team than Pitt. You know.
So let's get into that because obviously we play them next this week. And it starts where we have to start with Jeremiah Love, right? The number one running back in college football. In my opinion, he's the best player in college football. And I know, like, when you look up his numbers versus history, like he doesn't quite have like the historical markers to be like a Heisman or whatever. To me, he's my Heisman this year because, in my opinion, he's just the most valuable player. You take him off that Notre Dame team, and they're just a lot less versatile than what they are, right? Like CJ Carr, I think he's a little bit like Dante Moore. For me, he's a year away from being really, really good. He's a good quarterback. He's a year away from being really, really good. And so to have a running game that he can rely on, it's pretty awesome. And one of the reasons that Love doesn't have those numbers is because they have like what Penn State has, just a two-headed backfield with him and Jadarian Price.
Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame is just loaded in the backfield. Like, I don't even want to think about what Syracuse is going to do with this running a game. Like, we have been stingy a little bit in these games against the run at times, but ultimately they're going to get broken down. And like, these guys are 2 NFL backs, like really like as good as they get in the college game, honestly. And Notre Dame just grows these guys on trees. But yeah, this Notre Dame offense is really good. I think this is the best offense Freeman's ever had there. And as Carr gets better in the next couple of years, I think it's going to continue to improve. But I've been saying it. I know you agree. I think this Notre Dame team is a legit national title contender. I'm not certain they're not the best team in the country, to be honest with you. And so it's not the ideal opponent for a Syracuse team that is limping to the finish line here in the most obvious way possible. Honestly, I just hope nobody gets hurt in this game for either team.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Love is just one of those guys who I can't wait to watch him on Sundays. I know NFL running backs, like NFL doesn't pick running backs high. Whoever gets this kid is getting a star the day he walks into your franchise. He is going to be unbelievable in the NFL. He has all the measurables, all the skills in the world.
I have a question for you, dude. Would you even play him this week?
Yeah, probably. But like get him his carries because I think you're trying to get him stats
yards
at this point.
And awards and whatever else, you know.
Yeah, for that type of stuff, yes. I hear you on you don't want to get him injured, but I wouldn't really be worried about that playing Syracuse if I was them. To be honest with you, I wouldn't worry about that. But I hear you. But I would play him for the awards, right? Because he's going to want to get the recognition. You're not going to have him for that much longer.
Yeah, and he may want to suit up his last couple of games in the uniform.
And it's their last home game of the year, so definitely.
That's right. You're right.
So it's his last home game ever.
It's senior day. It's senior day.
Well, unless he gets a playoff game, but yeah, it's ultimately probably his last game ever. So yeah, he's definitely going to suit up. But I hear your concern. Maybe not against Stanford the next week, but then let's dive into CJ Carr because, like you were saying, like you think this is one of the best teams in the country. I think we had this conversation when they started 0-2. Like, here's a team that we were both buying. I think after they started 0-2, the way they started 0-2, losing two really tough games to two playoff teams, most likely, right? Like Miami's probably a playoff team. Texas A&M might be the best team in the country. Like losing 1 point to Texas A&M, losing by a field goal to Miami when they were right there to kick a field goal almost. So like, those are CJ Carr's first two games, and I saw a lot in those games, and I was like, this kid's only going to get better. And he just has gotten better. I mean, he's just dicing a very good Pitt defense. And, we saw Kyle McCord go against Narduzzi last year when Narduzzi had some prep time, and he was kind of able to get Kyle on a lot of like blitzes and stuff. CJ was high level in this game.
Yeah, I agree. This kid's good. He's good, dude. And like the other thing about these guys is like you said, those first two games, they should have beaten Miami. That was a fluke from kind of Miami there in that game. We've talked about it before. The other game, the Texas A&M game, I think we realized kind of in real time that Texas A&M was good.
Really good.
When is Texas A&M had an offense that scores 40 points that easily? Like they just never do. And
then added the Mike Elko defense.
Exactly. And like, they're going to be loaded with 4 and 5 star talent and athletes on that defense. Like it was going to come around. Like,
and picking up Casey Concepcion, who we both loved at NC State last year, like
I've
that.
Never been more in on an 0-2 team than I was on this Notre Dame team.
Yeah.
After seeing with a freshman quarterback, it's like there's no way this kid isn't getting better. He almost won him at Miami his first game and put up 40 points against Texas A&M and lost. Like.
Lost because of a missed field goal, extra point.
Exactly.
And then let's dive into the receivers. Malachi Fields is excellent, number 0. They have a tight end, Eli Reardon, who's, just one of those classic big Notre Dame white tight ends who just kills you. He's going to kill us. This guy's going to kill us. He's catch 20 passes for us. And then they've got Jordan Faison, who's also really good. So this team's as loaded as it gets on offense. When you get to their defense, they're not as good as they were last year, but they just have guys all over the field. And Freeman isn't afraid to play a bunch of guys on defense, and he isn't afraid to have guys looking like they're running around out there. And I think because he did a lot of that early in the season, this defense has gotten much better. So what wasn't a great defense in games 1 and 2 has kind of turned into a great defense because Marcus Freeman's that kind of guy. He's a great coach.
Totally. Like, and they've got a lot of talent. Like when you have talent and they're well coached, they're going to get better, right? Like they're going to get better throughout the year, and that's what they've done. And they've really come around. I mean, that game against Pitt last week, that was a statement game for their defense. I mean, like Pitt's been lighting people up again. It's kind of baffling to me after watching them play in the Dome that they've been lighting teams up that way, but whatever. That was not the case against Notre Dame. Nope. And to your point, this team has woken up. Like I honestly, I'm not kidding when I say I think they might be the best team in the country, and they just happen to have 2 losses right now.
A guy to look out for, Boubacar Traore, number 5 on their defensive line. I really like that kid. That kid's got some jam.
Yeah, I think first round NFL draft pick all over him.
Yeah,
top 10.
Yeah, only a sophomore. Finally, let's finish with Syracuse. Fran Brown had a press conference today. Again, I don't take much from these because they're definitely like he's trying to get through the end of the year. We're trying to get through the end of the year. He doesn't have any good answers for us.
No, and we've kind of traded different roles on this where one of us gets a little ticked about something that he says at this point in the year, but then it's just like we agree. It's just like what do you want from the guy at this point? Like, I mean, there's no answer to make this better. We don't have a quarterback. We understand. There's no quarterback. There's no answer to quarterback. we're resistant to really trying to figure out like any weird strategy to combat it. So let's just get to the next season, and I think we're all good with it at this point. Like, so
We almost
I
had an
would.
argument today over did the defense improve throughout the year? Because, like, I'm thinking we went from last in the ACC to third last in the ACC, and you're like, whatever, they're still bad. And I'm like, well, they're not the worst in the ACC anymore. They're only
Yeah,
third worst. And it's like, why are we even doing this? I
it's
kind of shut it
literally.
down immediately. I was
There
like,
was,
this isn't worth the squeeze.
I
But,
think
like,
we thought we
we got
wanted
two
to talk
spots better.
we thought we wanted to talk about something Syracuse football related, and we just like opened up the box and we were like, "This is not a good idea. We're just going to again." And frankly, Fran's on the same page. We're on the same page, Coach Fran. Like, let's just get this thing over with. But I mean, look, the quarterback situation has been mangled. Like, whether we had one or not, it's been mangled. It's not improving. We'll see what we toss out in this game. It sounds like it's going to be Velarde. We'll see. Dude. What do you expect from us?
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect a lot. I did, the big news today, I think that came out is that Jeff Nixon and Elijah Robinson are both set to return as offensive and defensive coordinators. Personally, for me, I really like Jeff Nixon. I think Jeff Nixon runs a good offense, especially when he's got the trigger man. And we know Steve coming back. I think it's good to have consistency in that offensive coordinator position. So, I like to bring Jeff Nixon back. And E-Rob, I know we've all had our problems with E-Rob. There are certain things that I've asked for them to get better at. And one of the things is like just tackling. And they got better at tackling. So I know the defense statistically is still not good. My eye test tells me that they're getting better. We've got a lot of young talent. I'm okay to give it another go with E-Rob. I'm okay to give it another go with E-Rob. But, there's certain things schematically that we've looked at. The number one thing I'm going to call out, exactly where I'm going with this. When they line up 3 wide receivers and we line up 2 defensive backs, it just pisses me off because it's a 3-on-2 and there's no reason that should ever happen. It happens all the fucking time.
We struggle to count on defense sometimes. I think Mason can do a good job doing that for us, dude.
He goes to 10 now.
There we go.
The problem is when he gets to 6, he skips to 9 because it's always like we have him count to 10. This is my son. We have him count to 10 to like calm him down because he really wants his food. But he knows if he just goes to 9, then he can get to 10 quickly. So we go 6 and then he goes 9. And I know, okay, then we got to get through 7. But sometimes Syracuse defense is like that, so I get it.
7 did eat 9 too, so that's the thing.